Phantom Zone Impromptu News Show. I'm your host, Jesse the Brain Ventura. I'm going to defeat the coronavirus with my mind and my delicious pectorals.
This is the problem, Jesse. You believe that the coronavirus is a real thing. It is not. It is a conspiracy created by the deep state and Donald Trump, who has been taken over by a reptilian in order to turn us all into slaves.
It wears a crown upon its head. All kings must fall someday.
Who else is here with us?
This is a great show already.
He is your boy, America's boyfriend, Hunter Davenport.
And this is your color commentary, Lou Gonzalez.
God damn it.
So we are going to be doing an impromptu news show because for once, Tallboy wasn't the one who left us hanging.
Who took a nappy time?
Exactly. So we're gonna be covering some news that was hastily thrown together by our fearless leader, Arlen.
Oh, that's a funny joke.
So I guess the first order of business would be, hey, guess what, everybody? Everything is still delayed.
Yep. Yeah, if you thought there were things that weren't going to continue to be delayed, they were.
Yeah.
So many things were.
Movies, your TV shows, your video games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, there's that weird thing that Disney, I think, is testing the waters with by putting out Onward, as of yesterday, which is quite good.
Just watched it.
Yeah, my wife and I watched it this afternoon.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like the idea.
I'm not against it.
I think we talked about this on the comic show a little. Like, is this gonna really completely change the movie and comic and all that kind of industry? Is this the death knell?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, GameStop's dead. Let's be real.
So a lot of this stuff
you can't kill what's already dead.
What is dead will never truly die. A lot of this was bound to happen eventually, and we talked about it on LHP. We're just seeing a lot of choices that were down the road being made now.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see those choices put into effect.
Yeah, a bunch of guys with their shirt sleeves rolled up and sweat pouring down their faces. I guess we should do this now then. Shit.
Oh, except for the one guy who Disney hired 6 months ago to head their online stuff. He's probably give it to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just case in point, two different things. One, a local, relatively local, movie theater that's been around for 30 years, I want to say. They just put out a notice saying they're closed completely. They're done because they can't continue to survive in this. And I had seen an article about AMC saying that they might be closing down completely because of all of this. The other thing is, with everything going on with COVID, Diamond distributors for comics, they are shut down as of right now. And
I think I heard they're using another some of the comic companies are using another distributor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Marvel straight up has said, I can't remember what the actual thing was, but they're cutting the books that are coming out to 30% or something like that.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense for them because a lot of that stuff is all intertwined, and if you don't know what's gonna come out, or what you're gonna be able to distribute, what's the point?
Well, my other thing though is I don't claim to know that much about the inner workings of comic stores, but having frequented them enough since I was 12, I know they're running on a very tight margin. And this is going to kill a lot of comic stores.
For sure.
And it sucks because there aren't a whole lot of places that are going to be readily available comics. It's not even Barnes and Noble carries them anymore.
So I found Marvel's pausing work.
All the Barnes and Nobles that had survived.
Yeah, they're releasing 1/3 of its May and June titles.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
guaranteed X-Men, the Hickman stuff is going to get released because that's selling like gangbusters. So,
Mhm. And I saw like
Yeah.
Lion Forge, which is like a smaller company. They're basically saying that they're done. So like they're dead.
Wow. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know the one guy Patrick who's in Pixels that I'm a friendly acquaintance with. Like he works for Penguin, and like trade paperbacks and hardcovers are still coming out from some of these companies and will still be in the direct market. But
Well, they also can do like direct, like you can order directly from them, so that like helps. That helps the comic companies, but like only the one. It doesn't help the show, like the stores and stuff.
Yeah.
And it sucks because in some places there never were stores up until recently. There are still places where they never really had a thriving comic book community. Like my town, we were just starting to like develop one, and we're to the point where there are like 5 shops in my town.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Like and I've talked about this before. It's 200,000 people. So 5 shops is huge. And I would imagine that most of them are going to collapse. The 2 shops that are owned by the same person might condense down to 1 if even that. So yeah.
Well, and beyond that though, like comic stores are also, I mean, there are like gaming stores, but at least around me, most of the comic stores are where you go to buy like card games and board games and all that
outside
stuff.
of like a Barnes and Noble or something.
But even then, like they're still selling such specialized stuff that you're not going to find like Pathfinder and D&D stuff at like a Barnes and Noble, not unless. And even then, you can't go to Barnes and Noble, so it doesn't matter. Like it just it sucks all around for everybody involved.
Also, comic book shops are like gathering places for like D&D and stuff, like Magic Gathering, and that sucks to lose for those people.
And what sucks is like what they're going to do in the meantime is look at digital and online avenues, and then probably never go back.
Those people that only go outside the house every once in a while are never going outside their house again.
Like I had one comic shop by me, and I really hope, like I was just talking to my wife about this because her gym, like her Pilates thing she goes to, like they're like, oh, we need 85 people to sign up for like a digital thing for the next month, or we're having to like shutter. And I'm like, God. My comic book store thing is like, I was like, yeah, if they did something, I'd look into it, but like they haven't sent anything out. They're just been closed for 2 weeks.
On a more positive side, at least to me, for all of this, back to movies being released either earlier or just digitally, like I'm kind of digging this whole like, hey, this is supposed to be in the theaters, but you can rent it for 2 days for $20.
Yeah.
I was
I'm into that.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
But
Hunter, are you on Mars? Are you on? Are you?
Yes.
There we go. That's better.
I escaped Mars to get away from coronavirus.
We only heard you because you were so tall. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to hear you.
I feel like Hunter Davenport, Tall Boy from Mars.
That's a band.
It's his David Bowie cover band.
Wow.
But it's everything's delayed. Nothing's great. Continue to try and enjoy things while you can. Anyways, let's move on to some of the main stories. This is one I knew nothing about. Was Ant-Man 3? They hired a Rick and Morty writer.
Yes, they did. Let's see.
Choice.
Bring his name up. Jeff Loveness, which sounds fake, but hey, I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge you for that. Let's see. Marvel hired him days before the shutdown, so it's interesting that we're just now getting that news. And I'm gonna look him up, see what episodes he's done. But yeah, I mean, that's not a bad choice for Ant-Man 3, I would say off the top of my head. Is anybody worried about this? Are we worried that the Szechuan sauce is going to make it into Ant-Man 3 or something?
No, I'm more like, I don't even know what that movie would be about. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's still going to be a Marvel movie.
what is he gonna fight. Like the only thing I could think of is like if they have someone steal the Ant-Man suit and it's the other. What was the other that you redeemed?
Erik O'Grady?
Yeah.
Well, I had heard rumblings, which, mind you, this was coming from an article which I had to point out to people is demonstrably false. It was the source was We Got This Covered, and it was saying,
my favorite.
Yeah, it was saying that Evangeline Lilly was being taken out of her role, or at least as prominently in Ant-Man 3 because of her statements on COVID. And they're going to focus more on Ant-Man's daughter, and this will be kind of their introduction into the Young Avengers.
What did she say about COVID?
She was talking about how, safety shouldn't come at the cost of freedom and blah, 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 which it's like, aren't you... Evangeline, you ignorant slut. To quote Saturday Night Live. Like,
it's just like, that was not a good look. Looking at the writers, IMDb, he actually hasn't done a lot of scripted stuff before this. It's mostly like live stuff. Kimmel, Emmys, Onion News Network, but he did direct the Dragon episode of Rick and Morty.
Oh my god! The Erik, you mean the episode written by Erik?
Yes, the greatest episode of Rick and Morty ever made. Probably.
I still haven't seen it yet. Is that on Hulu or any place like that?
I think it's just on Adult Swim.
Yeah, I think it's still streaming there, probably for free.
Okay. I'll have to see if
it's called,
app is like that.
Yeah, it's called Claw and Horror Special Rick and Morty.
Oh no!
Excuse me.
Special Rickdom's Morty. It's a great episode. Is that the one with the subplot about the cat, Lou?
Yes.
Or is that a different?
Yes. No, that's that one. I think.
It's already a great episode, but
yes, because that's how it ends. The cat, and the dragon are the ending. Yes,
there's a subplot about a cat who is voiced by Ferris Bueller.
What?
Yeah,
Michael J. Fox.
No, Michael J. Fox is not Ferris Bueller.
What's his name? Who had his soul?
Matthew Broderick.
Yes, the man whose soul was stolen by Sarah Jessica Parker.
Well, he also killed somebody in Europe. Anyways.
But yeah, he's the voice of a random talking cat that Jerry is hanging out with, and so many things happen. The dragon is voiced by Liam Cunningham. I couldn't get through that name for some reason. But yeah, it's a lot.
I had a stroke.
There's a lot going on.
Use Teen Wolf with Ferris Bueller.
Well, okay.
I mean, fair enough. Sure, why not?
Anyway,
but this should be interesting. I think the best thing that comes out of this is that he's a comedy guy, and that will only help because the Ant-Man movies really lean comedy.
They have to. Paul Rudd, I mean, he's good, but comedy is his forte.
Yeah.
It's mostly like as long as they keep their like him, that like side cast of T.I.
Yes.
I can't remember the one guy
Michael
who's
Pena.
Michael Pena, and the guy who's in every comic book thing.
Dismalshin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he supposed to be in another thing too?
Yeah, he's in Suicide Squad.
Yes, he is. But yeah, like Bobby. All that stuff is great. So they need them, and just generally, like the Ant-Man movies, I think they've always had good jokes that aim a little bit above people's heads. I think people write them off as the most kid-friendly, but I don't know. I think that there's some subversive stuff going on.
That Michael Pena bit like is so random, but works so well in that first movie. And even in Endgame, like the way they wrote Paul Rudd in that is perfect as well. So and his daughter, when he comes back, she's 5 years older, so she's like 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she looks much older than that.
Yes.
I think she's. That's the thing. Like, how long was the time period between Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2 supposed to be? Like, because wasn't it the same child actress who was in the second one? I haven't watched the second one in a while.
It is the same actress.
It could even be
she's a
her
bit
in
old.
Endgame. The kids grow fast.
Yeah.
It
wasn't the same girl in Endgame, I don't think.
No, I don't think it is. But yeah, she could be like 15, and it makes sense with like what we heard about, putting it with all the other Marvel stuff, like with Hawkeye about being with him and Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I thought the Hawkeye TV show was indefinitely on hiatus. Last I'd heard.
Well, yeah. Oh, I think all the stuff, all the TV shows.
But I mean before.
Before that.
Yeah.
Did they listen to Jeremy Renner's album?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
We don't talk about that here.
Renner's a great guy.
Yeah. Go search about stuff and his wife on your own. Not on the show.
Yeah.
And then come back to us.
Tell us how great he is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Ant-Man 3, like it's still such a question mark at this point, and I don't even know where it's supposed to fit in within like the time frame of what we knew before the world decided to slow down.
Oh yeah, because we don't know when anything is like everything that was in production is not. Because like I just saw like Shang-Chi's halted, like everything is halted.
Yeah.
And they bump back. Black Widow I can't remember, the date is like,
I think it's November.
No,
maybe that's when Eternals is November, and Black
Widow.
Is August or September, I think. Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good that this didn't happen when Endgame was supposed to be coming out, because my God, the world would have turned into a ball of flame. Yeah, I would have rioted. Yeah.
Black Widow is moved to November 6th.
Wow. Okay.
So Eternals got bumped to February 12th. I'm looking at the thing right now.
Jesus Christ.
Shang-Chi got bumped to May 7th. Just doing MCU stuff, and Doctor Strange is the next November 2021. So they see everything almost got bumped back like 9 months.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it gives them a lot of time to figure out the timeline for the next few movies and to make sure it all makes sense.
Yeah, and they can have a coherent timeline this time. You're right.
Yeah, and it gives Warner Brothers plenty of time to figure out how to fuck up their DC universe even more.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not.
And then second guess themselves, fix it, and then second guess the fixing that they do.
And then scrap the whole thing altogether.
I can't wait for Wonder Woman to pop up on HBO Max when that happens. Yeah,
because they put that in August.
Yeah,
I think that's a very aggressive date.
That's very generous.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they're right. I really do. I do want them to be correct.
I do want them to be correct too. Believe me.
Yeah. I think we all do.
My favorite thing is here. I'll send the link, but it has like the next thing after Wonder Woman is October 2nd, untitled Sony Marvel sequel, presumed Venom sequel.
Oh God.
Yeah. So,
and then Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, October 23rd.
Okay, I hate that movie.
But I'm looking at this list. I love some of the movies on here. Like The Flash is still on here for July 1st, 2022.
Okay, so the other day I saw an article that said the Cyborg would have come out like on this day.
Remember when they were going to do a Cyborg?
Flash is
so New Mutants can vote before it comes out.
Yeah, that's something else. Since we're talking about Marvel stuff, like I know somebody had posted in the chat about New Mutants coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think that was a April Fool's joke.
Why didn't they just fucking do it?
I think it's because of what Arlen has said. It must have some sort of weird connection that they want to make it a backdoor mutant thing for the MCU.
Yeah, it might be.
Because it makes no sense otherwise. Like, they spent no money on it. They didn't make the movie.
Right.
At this point,
it's a write-off. Yeah.
But at this point, like, everyone is at home. Like, anyone who wants to see that movie will get Disney Plus, even if it's just for the free. Like, just fucking do it.
Yeah. And you're never going to get more positivity for that movie than you are right now.
Is Dark Phoenix even on Disney Plus yet?
It's on HBO.
Eh.
Well, that's probably some leftover Fox deal that why it's on there.
Yeah, and I wonder.
Maybe that plays into it.
Where they'll put things. Like there was debate apparently internally about where to put the X-Men stuff, and whether that belonged on Plus or Hulu. And apparently the conclusion is some stuff is just going to live on both.
Honestly, just put it on Plus.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would put the Fox stuff on Hulu to keep it separate.
They already have the animated series, like both of them, right? Pretty sure they have.
I would play it by ear. Like some of the X-Men stuff is more adult, let's say, than some of the rest of it.
Some of it is absolute garbage.
Well, not even just Logan. Like X-Men 1 it's very sexual. It's actually it's extremely sexual, as we all discovered
on Disney Plus. So
whereas
they should just never put Wolverine Origins on anything.
No, they should just
they shouldn't. They should delete every file.
They should just. You know, the other day we were talking about the Oregon Trail. They should just do that, but just for Wolverine.
I feel like here's
my asterisk. They just put up. They re-release a short film called Wolverine Through Time. And it's just the opening of Wolverine Origins. The best part of that entire film.
I would just say, like, just have the thing and hire Hugh Jackman to just say like Wolverine Origins, and then they just have Hugh Jackman throwing copies into a bonfire for 2 hours.
Him and Ryan Reynolds. It's just them.
I know it cuts from him, Ryan Reynolds, and Liev Schreiber, just like all of them. Because they wasted an amazing actor doing an amazing portrayal.
Oh God. Movie. I'm still.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, just have them stare at a camera for 2 hours. Just they say "I'm sorry" every like 20 minutes. Just like "I'm sorry."
Or just have Ryan Reynolds play with the Deadpool figure from that movie. Just be like, why? Why don't you have a mouth?
They're all questioning, like, why? Why did they do this? Liev Schreiber, man.
Yeah.
He should have been in Logan, I still say. He should have been been in there somewhere.
How shortchanged is Sabretooth as a character? He's basically a mute character in the first X-Men movie, and then he's in the worst X-Men movie, and that's it.
Yeah. And again, like you said, played by the best possible actor, probably, for the role.
Yeah. So anyone have anything else they want to say about Ant-Man? Tangentially connected to Marvel films in somewhere?
Nah, not really.
No, not really. Yeah.
All right. Well, next on the docket would be Obi-Wan hired the writer of Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. What is Army of the Dead?
You don't remember this
heard
movie?
Of this.
So Army of the Dead is it's the movie that caused a little bit of a stir a while ago because. Yes, this is the Zack Snyder movie that he was doing for Netflix. I believe he's still doing it. Yeah. But it's the movie where people found an unreleased script, an early script, where there's a pregnant zombie who was gang raped by zombies.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Is this a Mark Millar script?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually
was. Make any sense because they're dead.
Yeah,
it's Lou. Don't question these things.
I got bad news for you.
Oh,
it already doesn't make very much sense.
So I found a picture of it, and I think that's the well. No, I think it's the one woman is from.
Why is Batista in it?
The Spirit.
Yeah.
Isn't that her that plays the French woman?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think it might be the same.
And Batista's in it because he's Batista, and he's like
do whatever he wants.
Yeah. This certainly looks like a Zack Snyder cast.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it could also be like a shot for Predators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the premise of the movie is that it's a heist, but there are zombies. Which sure.
All right.
Why not? I'm a fan of the heist genre, so this doesn't not interest me. but I don't know. The stuff that I heard about this script from people that had copies of it, it did not give me positive thoughts about this man. And then if you look at what he's written, he wrote that Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie, which
Oh no.
I know of very few people who enjoyed that film.
Oh, you know who's in this movie? Shades from Luke Cage.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then he wrote the Hayden Christensen Jessica Alba film Awake, a film I've never seen, but I'm seeing that it has a 33% on Metacritic.
Wow.
So
Is that the one where she gets somebody's eyes donated to her?
No,
that's called Eyes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's called Eyes.
It's something like that.
Ghosts.
Yeah, that's that movie. Yep.
It's
what year was
it's
this?
it's on her IMDb. It's The Eye.
2007.
Which is actually, if I remember correctly, it's an adaptation of a Japanese horror film.
Yes.
Yes,
The Eye.
yes,
That
it
is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But anyways, those are his only 2 films as a writer before this.
God.
Cool. Love it.
So he's been hired to do Obi-Wan.
But they got such a good director.
I see the Star Wars curse of making one really good spinoff.
Uh-huh.
Really bad one immediately behind.
Yes. Oh God.
My only thing
he's
is, like,
also writing a screenplay for Transformers.
Oh,
Just
man.
kill me.
Why?
Just kill
Why-
me.
Here's the only thing I could say is, like, how much actual creative freedom will somebody have in writing? Like, it's like plot points. Like they're not like there's gonna be like kind of I feel like, if Disney's smart, like a framework for him to work in.
Yeah.
Do you mean with Obi-Wan?
Yes,
Are
with
you-
Obi-Wan.
Here's the thing. I think Kathy Kennedy at this point, she knows that she can't make too many mistakes. So I don't think you're wrong that there's definitely going to be boundaries there and people making sure he can't screw up too much.
And Obi-Wan has kind of hard canon, like, for a lot of his life at this point. So, like, there's not a whole lot of room to dick around with.
Sure. And my problem with this not getting off the ground up till now is, like, it's kind of already written for you. There are maybe 3 possible storylines you could tell that people would want to see. And they can only go a certain number of ways. So it's not rocket science with this one. It's not like he could be doing a lot of things while he's there in the desert.
It's like
just hanging out.
It almost like it could almost also be a Western. Like,
No, the initial pitches I'd heard were Jimbo.
Yeah. And
Which
I'm
makes
into that.
sense.
Like, yeah, I've been saying, like, Mad Max and Logan. That should be your sort of thing that you're pulling from. Something of that.
The
akin
only other
to
thing I
that.
could think of is if, like, somebody, like, if they take what I don't even know, the Tusken Raiders, is that their name now?
Yeah.
That, like, it has to do with, like, oh, they're causing problems, and he finds out that, like, he goes to stop them, and, like, no, they were actually the wronged party.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, or even do a Good, the Bad, the Ugly, or like not that one, but the first one of the trilogy. Fuck, Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah, Fistful of Dollars, you Jimbo. Where you
Yeah.
have 2 gangs against each other, and that could be interesting. You have like a sub Hut clan, and some other gang that comes in, or you could do a version of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly where
because
there's a Hut there and there's somebody else also.
In the comics, there was a Tusken Raider who was a Jedi who, when everything went down, returned to the Raiders to hide.
Was that pre-Disney by?
Yes, that was pre-Disney.
Does not exist in.
No, I know it doesn't
canon.
exist in canon. I'm saying it's something they could borrow.
I could.
And they do that. They do
because him and Obi-Wan had like a big thing because he basically, with his Jedi abilities, like started taking over like large swaths of the area with his powers, leading the Raiders. He's like, dude, you're fucking up. Like, that's not what Jedi are supposed to do.
Yeah.
What if?
And
Okay,
then
hear me
he raised his stick in the air and went.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan cuts off his arms.
Oh, of course he does.
Hear me out here. Okay,
Yeah.
so Alden Ehrenreich shows up at one point, right? And he's just he does his shitty Han Solo impression, and then Obi-Wan just cuts him in half.
Yep, that works.
I'm into that.
And then they screw up the cloning of him in the back to tanks, and he ends up becoming Harrison Ford. Yeah, that works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm into it.
Anyways, I'm not looking forward to this because this guy.
Yeah, no. Like I had such high hopes when. Which episode of The Mandalorian was it that the person who's going to be directing the show?
It was the third episode.
It was
the one that was
really good.
It was the Seven Samurai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He just destroys everybody.
Yeah, like that was phenomenal. And okay, yep, cool, good job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Disney.
Yeah, I'm hoping that director, she is actually she did 2 of the better episodes, so she might be able to balance out his script. I don't know. This might be just like a interim thing, so they have somebody working on it, just to, so they can say that they did. But
and then have tons of rewrites, much like a recently released Star Wars film. Anyways, all right, let's jump to trailers. Which when I was looking at this, I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, the Train to Busan sequel. Peninsula. Yes, that looks great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah,
movie I need to watch.
You haven't seen Train to Busan?
No, I know. I'm doing a disservice to my Korean people.
You are.
I said this in the chat earlier, but like every time I see these zombie movies now, I'm just like, we've done this before. Like they're just
I think I'm in the same place as Hunter, so it's hard for me to get up for like a zombie movie.
Go ahead, Arlen.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I can 100% understand if it's an American production, how you would be tired of zombie films, but the Train to Busan is so good, and it's very much not an American film because it has Korean sensibilities. It just it doesn't have the typical American tropes in it. Like everything is handled so well. Like it's just watch it. I'm sure it's available somewhere for free. Just go watch it. It's
I think it's
good.
on Hulu.
It's a lot of places.
It was on Netflix for the longest time too. So
maybe it's on Netflix or it's on Shudder. I don't remember.
Yeah, who knows? But it's out there, and give me more. Just nom 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 nom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited because that first Train to Busan, it surprised me with its inventfulness, and like people in those movies think the way that a normal person would think during this situation. Like they don't make the dumb movie choices for arbitrary drama, and it looks like this movie is continuing that on, where characters are doing the inventful things that you would need to do to survive in this zombie apocalypse scenario. So yeah, I'm very excited. And like Erik said, like none of the traditional tropey stuff happens in these movies. There's always something that sort of upends your expectations in the best way that Korean movies tend to do. So yeah, watch Train to Busan. Everybody here in our group has access to my copy of it if they want to. But people out there, if you haven't seen Train to Busan, get into it. You got the time and no excuses not to.
Well, yeah, and it was Train to Busan was it Bong Joon-ho? Or who's the director of it? Wasn't it the guy who directed Parasite?
No, it's not that. It's a different guy altogether.
Okay.
You're just being racist.
Yeah, well, God damn it.
It's
all of you motherfuckers.
Song Ho Yan.
Okay.
To be fair, white people can only keep 2 names of another race in their head at a time. So,
it's true.
But no, like the number of directors who are Korean that I know by name is getting bigger. And this Busan guy, I think he's gonna make sure that he's in our name or in our heads from now on.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I hope the sequel isn't diminishing returns. Like, I don't think it will be, but there's always that concern. But I mean, it's also been how many years since Train to Busan came out? So
yeah, it's 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's enough time for him to have probably been.
Yesterday.
So is Soul Station connected to this or no?
It's like an animated spin-off. I haven't seen it. It's
Okay,
on.
same.
It's the same director that directed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he's the screenwriter and director of Soul Station.
okay.
And so he directed Train to Busan, screenwriter director of Soul Station, and then Peninsula as well.
Awesome.
Which and Train to Busan is free on Tubi and Vudu on BHD, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's something that you're really worried about, watch it there.
It's out there.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing that we have was the new Edgar Wright, which I haven't heard anything about. Like I heard rumblings about him having but he's to direct a movie about a robot who gets inspired to write a screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's what did you say? A robot that gets
it gets inspired to write a screenplay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Edgar Wright. I have nothing but faith in anything he does at this point. So it bring it on, please.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into whatever he has to do. Like, even if it's not my favorite, it's still gonna be better than the majority of things that are out there to watch. So yeah.
So this is still in super preliminary phase right now, where he doesn't have actors or anyone else going on yet.
Well, most of the information we know comes from the fact that it's an adaptation of a book. A book that isn't even out yet. So there must be
a little presumptive.
Yeah, but
it's happened before. Jurassic Park was, I think,
Jurassic Park was
before it came out.
Wasn't it?
This kind of stuff happens all the time. Though.
The rights were bought before the book came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, people in the industry, they get a peek at a book beforehand from their friends in the book part, and some of these companies are owned by the same companies that own the studios, so they get early copies. And I'm guessing Edgar got a copy of this, and this is the log line of the book, which is Set My Heart to 5, set in an all too human 2054. Follows Jared, an android that works as a dentist, as he undergoes an emotional awakening that is sparked by an introduction to 80s and 90s movies. He then embarks on a quest to convince humans that he and his kind should be permitted to feel. It's a quest that leads him to an unforgettable adventure across the west coast of America. That sounds interesting.
Like a modern
Bicentennial Man.
Yeah, like I was just saying, like Philip K. Dick.
Yeah. It has a lot of that stuff. Sounds like it could be a good version of Ready Player One in some parts, in some places.
I was gonna say, Hunter, what was Cage game that came out? That was
what?
David Cage. Robots.
It has a dumb name. Detroit Become Human.
Yeah. I played and beat that game.
That game sucks.
It's like a very pretty Telltale game.
Yeah, David Cage.
It's got good acting.
I never played it.
Lance Henriksen is pretty good in it, I guess.
It's got Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown is awesome in it, and he gets to play like a really heavy character.
I hate David Cage because of all his like stupid bullshit, but
and I think it's like very amalgamous of like the Holocaust, I believe.
No, okay.
And slavery.
It's a very ham-fisted metaphor for race relations.
Yeah. Yeah, I know in some of the press for that game he had brought up Martin Luther King Jr. and it's like, do you really want to do that? Do you
really want to do that, man?
Isn't he French or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing where I feel like Europeans, when they try to get American like culture,
I think you're 100% correct. Like what was it? Did any of you ever see the movie Skin or the short film version of the movie
Yes.
Skin?
I think so. Yeah.
I know the name.
So okay,
Wait, is that the
Here's-
movie where people have like weird
no,
deformities?
it's the Scarlett Johansson movie.
Oh,
No,
that's
that's Under the Skin. I'm talking about the movie where the kid grows up a Nazi.
Interesting.
Yes, and he meets this kid who his father, who was a Nazi, he killed his father. I don't know if I completely messed that up or not. He killed this other kid's father who's black, and by meeting him, they spark up a friendship, and he decides that being a white supremacist isn't for him. And he's like covered in tattoos.
Oh, it's like
and
American History X.
Yeah, but it's like it's
For
a
kids?
weird metaphor because there's this sort of prologue which I've actually seen. It was released as a short film on its own, and it won an Oscar.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at
Where-
right now. The guy's Israeli-born filmmaker guide.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, he's
won the-
Israeli,
he
so
won-
he really has an understanding of America, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Well,
he won an Oscar for it too.
that sounds
Mhm.
similar to what was it? The Ryan Gosling film where he played a Nazi, but he was also
Oh, yeah.
Jewish. I can't remember what the
Yeah,
fuck or a
Blade Runner
skinhead.
2049.
What's that?
Blade Runner 2049, right?
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Oh, like all these actors in
Um,
this, I've seen in a bunch of
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, and so in the beginning of that, so in that prologue, they kidnap the racist dad and they tattoo him black.
That's
And
fucked up.
he
Um,
goes back to his white supremacist family, and they all kill him because they think he's a
Uh,
black man trying to rob them.
That's
Wait,
not,
like, That's
What a
not how
great
pigments
movie.
work.
yeah.
They tattoo him black.
They tattoo him like how black? Like Mr. Popo or like
just look this movie up. I'm serious.
You look
God.
stupid.
It's not good. I was
You don't
shocked.
say. You don't say that a movie
shit, huh?
with that
All
idea
right.
and it is bad.
well, the second picture I see is a man with no skin.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Well, it's a metaphor for we're all the same underneath our skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Here's everything you need to know about David Cage. He once
Oh, here we go.
He once got in trouble because you know how Ellen Page is one of his games, right? Like he did Beyond Two Souls.
Yes.
She was in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So the whole thing with that game that got him in a huge amount of trouble is he rendered her nude without her knowing.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
this for the PC or something like that. You can see it, right?
Yeah. If you can like do a free camera thing, you could like zoom out, and he modeled the whole thing.
Yep.
And it turns out he does this pretty regularly at his studio because he got sued for like a bunch of sexual harassment shit going on in his studio.
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah,
That's shocking.
Crazy.
That's shocking. I can't believe the renowned and beloved director of such video games.
Indigo
Detroit.
Prophecy.
I forgot Luke Cage is in this film that I was talking about, by the way.
Jason.
Just wanted to let you know. He's in that film.
Jason.
Yeah, the one kid I saw is like he's in the kid is in This Is Us. Like, yeah, there's like a bunch of people in it.
Well, the kid from It, Georgie, is in it also. He plays the kid version of the guy with the tattoo.
Plays a white supremacist?
He plays a white supremacist kid.
Well then Pennywise was right. Hashtag Pennywise is right.
I'm trying to find a picture of this guy tattooed, and
I can't find it anywhere, but it definitely happens. It's the end of the movie. It's the short film version. I assume the short film version sort of leads into the longer version of it. Yeah. It's not.
The guy who's the grown-up one been in a bunch of stuff too. I can't.
Oh yeah, well yeah, he's from
Jonathan.
He's
Tucker?
from Jumper. He's from.
Oh whoa! Well, we're starting off with a winner right there.
That's just what. For some reason, I always think of Jumper when I think of him, and I don't.
I love
don't know
Jumper.
why.
Really?
Oh.
Whenever I think of him, I go to Jumper first. I don't think of him in Fantastic or Fanforstic. I mean.
Another winner.
Uh huh.
No, That's not the right guy.
Who are you talking about?
This guy. Are you talking about the guy that played the Thing?
Yes.
No,
Ben
that's
Grimm
not the
is
guy
in
that's
the
in this
film.
movie. No.
Yes, he is.
I'm looking at the IMDb. It's not the same guy.
Okay, fine. Anyways,
Unless
we're
he's
off on
also in this movie.
We're off on a wild tangent about
Yeah.
racist
We're-
French people.
Let's
and
steer
racist
back.
Israeli people. Anyways, people outside of America don't understand American racism in the same way
No.
that Americans don't understand Asian racism. So why are
Yeah.
we making?
Mm.
It's like if fucking Martin Scorsese was making a movie about the racism between Japanese people and Chinese people. Like, why would you do that? Why would you think that's a good idea?
Well, because he makes films and he doesn't.
Mhm.
He doesn't like garbage fluff like everybody.
Right, yeah.
Yep. People are great. I love them. All that we need to have happen is
Sigma Force 6 needs to come in and slit all their throats.
the Black Ops operations are happening. They are under our noses. This quarantine is part of the coup.
just like how this disease was released because the 5G network is screwing
5G
up people's
towers?
brains. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, anybody else have anything else they wanted to add to
Nah.
No. I don't know. That Edgar Wright movie sounds cool. Yeah.
It's so nebulous at this point and so much of the zygote phase tell, but it's Edgar Wright. I trust him.
Yeah, it's something that I'd like to see more of. I think like a trailer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You
That
couldn't
and-
tell we were scraping the bottom of the barrel for
it was thrown together last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a lot of news. It's like, oh,
right.
what's going on? Everything is canceled.
Right. That's the thing. Most
Still.
of the stories are that thing's canceled. That thing you like, it's not coming out. So
Except for that gum. I'm so glad it's coming back and
that's
stuff.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming back in style. Yeah. Also, it is the anniversary of Twin Peaks very soon. So you should.
Oh, isn't what's his name? The Amel's movie coming out soon?
Code 8? It's out.
Yeah. Yeah, but isn't
It's
it coming
out.
to Netflix or something?
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I
I think it's like this week or next week.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know really anything about that other than chatter talking about with it. So maybe I'll check it out. But
Yeah.
I probably won't.
That
because I hate
name I can
everything.
never remember.
All right. Well, before we spiral off again too far, and I've been once again thrust upon all of you host Erik Fedorchak.
Yeah. I am.
You can find me at Erik_Fedor on Instagram. There's pictures of dogs and cats and food. I haven't recently because everybody knows. I'm also floating around the Phantom Zone. Things there happening or maybe not happening. See what you can add to that, and I'd also like to let my friend Jesse tell you about the fact that
Hunter, you need to build up your testicular fortitude. The coming of Quetzalcoatl is upon us. The only way you can fight the winged serpent is by being a man.
Oh, okay.
Do it, you namsy-pamsy tree of a human.
and that's it.
How are any of us gonna follow that?
Hey man,
I have another podcast. The next episode will be the premiere of a untitled James Bond podcast that we don't have a title settled yet, but it's going to be probably a pun of some sort, something pod inserted to the title of one of the Bond films, perhaps. If you have recommendations, please let us know. Find us on the social medias, and that's my plugs.
Yeah, don't follow me anywhere. Let's see. You can check out when Shut-Ins comes back, when I'm able to record again. We are currently putting together a list of things we want to get done, and some exciting stuff we're working on. I can't wait to finally do it again. So yeah, that's really it for me.
Are you guys going to watch that furry cartoon you love so much together?
Yeah, we're doing a full watch along.
You're gonna have a gift party.
Yes. Well, not with Andrew, but
when you bring it to the dry cleaners, your fursuit, just tell them it's egg whites.
So yeah, Lou Gonzalez, you can check out the comic book show, and we need to do an episode this week, where we're sure to do one this coming week. Smallville Chronicles, and yeah, check out all those stuff. You can follow me at Hunty is Dead and Young_Kami on YouTube, or on Instagram. And I'm trying to come up with a fursona. I'm thinking something with Bigfoot.
Yes.
So send me your ideas. Hashtag Leo's the best.
The best.
Shot at Leo this week.
Yeah, I guess with all that wonderful stuff. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
In the coming apocalypse, the only way you'll be able to defeat Quetzalcoatl will by building your testicular fortitude, Hunter.
You better cut all that into the podcast.
It's all going in.